SummerSlam 2025 is now behind us. Everybody is talking about the show because my goodness, what did we just see? CM Punk and Gunther had an all-time classic, followed by one of the best Money in the Bank cash-ins of all time. Cody Rhodes and John Cena tore down the house, redeeming themselves for that travesty we got at WrestleMania 41. But biggest of all, everybody is talking about this. Brock Lesnar is back in the WWE. Kicking off the first match of the night, it was Roman Reigns and Jey Uso teaming up against the Braun Breaker versus Bronson Reed. The crowd was on fire the entire time, and a big thanks to that was the MVP of this match, Braun Breaker. He looked like $1,000,000, commanding the crowd's attention, holding them in the palm of his hand. Everything he did was superb and intentional, from the shit talking to dominating both Jey and Roman. Don't even get me going on the part where he put up his singlet strap only to then take them back off. The crowd went crazy once again. It was amazing. Hit like crack because Braun was on crack the entire match. I even took my own shirt off. I was hyped. That's wrestling. Roman also had a few insane moments in this match, like the time he went for that Undertaker-esque style dive over the top rope, damn near killing himself on the landing. Holy shit, that was insane. Once the action got going, it did not stop. It was a non-stop throw ride from Bronson Reed nearly landing on his face to Roman Reigns putting Braun Breaker through the barricade, and the finish of this match was brilliant in every single facet, but more specifically in storytelling and character progression. Braun Breaker spearing Roman after Reigns sacrificed himself for Jey, allowing Jey to pick up the victory over Bronson Reed, was a finish I really liked because one, it made Braun look like a world beater. Look at how Roman was selling that thing. He was selling his ass off, but most importantly, it felt like Roman's way of finally apologizing to Jey for all the physical and verbal abuse he put him through all those years ago, if the apology is still a thing. Heading into this big SummerSlam bout, I said the Brauns absolutely must win, but more specifically, Braun Breaker had to be the one to pin Roman Reigns. The reasoning simple: a defeat doesn't affect Roman's status at all. He has long since reached a celestial tier where losses just don't matter. He is unequivocally the biggest draw in professional wrestling. When you think WWE over these past 5 years, you think of Roman Reigns, and none of that colossal draw power goes away with a loss at SummerSlam. The same principle on a slightly lesser scale applies to Jey Uso. Beyond preserving his status, consider the undeniable reality of Roman's current situation. He's on a part-time schedule, his presence is a rarity. In addition to that, he's gearing up to film Street Fighter, further limiting his availability, and we all know his contract doesn't have much time left, so his future with the company isn't guaranteed in the long run. This precious finite amount of time is precisely why Roman must be utilized to his maximum potential in a way that truly benefits the company's future, and who better to have received that ultimate blessing than Braun Breaker? He's the next big megastar, the legitimate successor to Roman's throne. A victory over the current face of the company at the first ever historic two-night SummerSlam could have been the transformative moment that solidifies Braun Breaker as WWE's next era-defining star. But of course, none of that happened. My naive ass really thought Roman and Jey, with that amount of star power, would lose after being stripped down, humiliated for their shoes the week prior. Nonetheless, it's all good. The Brauns still look fantastic, prove they belong there while being in the ring with WWE's biggest star. Plus, they ultimately stood tall at the end of the night. In my mind, like many of you guys out there, the next logical step for the Brauns is to capture the Raw Tag Team titles to further solidify them as a unit. If they do, they could run that division roughshod for a year plus. That's how OP they would be. It's like slapping two 99s together in a tag team going against 70 overalls. It's not even fair. The only issue with that is there's no other viable tag teams on Monday Night Raw at the moment, which also goes hand in hand with a bigger and wider issue Raw has. They have no babyface tag teams. That's why just grab a couple from SmackDown. Give me Fraxium. Oh, Fraxium versus Braun Breaker and Bronson Reed. Oh, I'm oozing just at the thought of that. In regards to Jey Uso, since he did pick up the victory over Bronson Reed for the 10,000th time, I presume he will be one of the next challengers for the World Heavyweight Championship possibly at Clash in Paris. What about Roman Reigns though? What's next for him? He's on a part-time schedule. He has nothing left to prove really. Besides proving that he can actually beat Seth Rollins at the biggest stage of them all, exorcise the ghost from his past. These two have been on a collision course forever. You can't tell a story of Roman Reigns without mentioning Seth Rollins and vice versa. Roman, a big reason as to why he became the tribal chief was due to Seth Rollins' action with the chair a decade ago. We need this story. We need the proper culmination of something that has been the main focal point of WWE for so long now. One-on-one at WrestleMania, mano-a-mano, Seth Rollins versus Roman Reigns. Give it to me now. Now let's talk about one of my favorite matches so far in 2025. CM Punk versus Gunther for the World Heavyweight Championship. What a fucking classic, followed by an all-time great Money in the Bank cash-in. I can't even put into words how much I love this match. This is my style of wrestling. It's a technical chess match where every move meant more and more and more as the match progressed. The physicality was brutal and the psychology was absolutely captivating. Gunther started this match beating the piss out of Punk, throwing everything at him. Vicious chops that echo throughout the arena, relentless submissions, but Punk stayed resilient, which was a key focal point of this match. This match was the personification of styles make fights throughout Punk's technical and brawling style, which was a perfect fit for Gunther's hard-hitting offense. They made simple sequences of moves look like a war of attrition, with Punk gradually chipping away at Gunther between periods of getting beaten down, including a crafty spot like the announce table leg sweep. The turning point of this match was when Gunther saw his own blood. It was a moment that humanized this supposedly unbeatable wrestling machine that cannot be touched. In the last 4 years, he's only lost a handful of times, yet the sight of his own blood rattled him to his core. He was no longer the composed ring general. He was frantic, scrambling, and pleading. Punk, realizing the moment is there for the taking, acted like a shark that smelled blood in the water. Because blood was dripping from Gunther's face. He went for the kill, hit 2 GTSs on Gunther for good measure for the 1, 2, 3, and we have a new World Heavyweight Champion. Chef's kiss. Gunther's overconfidence is his biggest kryptonite, and it came back to bite him in the ass once again from the Sami Zayn loss at WrestleMania 40 to Jey Uso the following year. Now Punk at SummerSlam. Gunther's downfall in these huge matches is always rooted in himself, and I find that fascinating as to what WWE is gonna do with that next, because eventually Gunther's gonna need to address that part about himself. My favorite part about the closing sequence was the utilization of blood. We rarely see it, but I love how there was a cause and effect. Gunther saw blood, he was frantic, he lost control, and that caused him to be on the receiving end of CM Punk's deadly finisher. Personally, I prefer blood to be solely used in feuds filled with deep animosity, not rush programs that only last 2 weeks, but in this case, it was a moment that perfectly encapsulated the story they were telling. CM Punk, since his WWE return, has not missed putting on banger after banger, with Drew McIntyre, Seth Rollins being a part of the greatest triple threat match in WrestleMania history, in addition to this all-time classic with Gunther. Isn't this kind of funny that this is what happens when you put Gunther with actual main event level talent, something that didn't happen much in his first reign as World Heavyweight Champion. Concerning Gunther, he may be my favorite wrestler in all of professional wrestling at the moment. His natural presence and in-ring ability, storytelling wise, have led to a string of classics. Randy Orton at Berlin and King of the Ring are some of my favorite matches ever. The one with Damian Priest was superb. The match with Cody Rhodes at Saudi was really good. And now we get another 5-star match with CM Punk. This guy does not miss. CM Punk, after more than a decade away from WWE, he was somebody we thought would never return to the company. Finally, at last, recaptures the world title in an emotional, career-defining moment. He defeated Gunther in a match that was, by all accounts, a masterpiece. The crowd was going insane. The emotion was real. Punk was crying. Then, in a blink, it was all snatched away. 10 years removed from the original heist of the century, Seth came back for part 2. Beatdown Punk hit the stump and now is your new World Heavyweight Champion in what might be one of the best work/swerves ever. The moment Seth's music hit, I lost my damn mind. I was screaming, but when he tossed those crutches aside and revealed it was all a ruse, took off the knee brace, did the Willy Wonka pose, that's when I lost my fucking mind. I don't care if anyone says, oh, this was predictable, we knew it was a work, this and that. To me, it does not matter. I geeked out so hard, I'm pretty sure my dad woke up. The amount of curse words I dropped in 30 seconds was insane. Pure euphoria in the bedroom. WWE letting Punk's moment sink in for a while, letting him hold that title up high, made me believe, oh, he was safe, but in reality, he was far from that. The Bronze didn't stand tall at the end of their match, which I wish they had, but it's all fun, it's all dandy because they stood tall with the biggest prize on Monday nights to close out the show. My lasting visual wasn't Jey Uso and Roman yeeting, it was Braun Breaker, Seth Rollins, Paul Heyman, and Bronson Reed all standing tall as one with the biggest prize on Monday Night Raw. That's all that matters. Kudos to Seth Rollins. Round of applause. He kept his promise. As long as he's around, CM Punk will never be world champion. And he wasn't lying. The level of hatred and personal animosity between Punk and Seth was already at an all-time high. But now with this, it's reached a new insane level. So what's next? That's the big question that keeps professional wrestling fans going. The landscape of Monday Night Raw has been completely shaken up to its core, and there's so many intriguing possibilities that stem from all this. You have CM Punk, who just got screwed out of the world title. He worked over a decade to get back. Knowing their history, things are far from over. And can we just talk about how for some people they don't really like long feuds with Punk and Seth? It's been going on for a while, but for me, I love a long story with two people who just can't get enough of each other. At this point, put these two inside Hell in a Cell. Then when we take a step back, there's LA Knight, who pinned Seth Rollins clean and hasn't been seen since, so for sure he should be gunning for the world title. Don't forget about Jey Uso as well, who got the pin over Bronson Reed at SummerSlam and could now have the world title in his sights. Sami Zayn is another name that could be thrown in the mix, a fan favorite who always seems to find himself in the hunt. Gunther, who lost the world title, definitely is in line for some revenge. But the matchup I want to see, even though he's a part-timer, is Seth Rollins versus Roman Reigns. I talked about it a little bit beforehand. It needs to happen at some point. Seth is now in the exact same position of the man he helped take down at WrestleMania 40. He has the Oracle Paul Heyman, a faction ready to do his dirty work, and now he has the world title. Everything runs through him. The parallel is clear. The same thing that took Roman down, the eventual breakdown of his own bloodline, will eventually happen to Seth, and I can't wait to see where all this goes. Now let's talk about the match I was most anticipated for, the WrestleMania 41 rematch, now a street fight. John Cena versus Cody Rhodes for the undisputed title, the biggest prize in our sport, past versus present, one last time. And my god, what a match it was. After the complete mess we got in that WrestleMania 41 rematch, these two went out there like rent was due, because it was, and they delivered far beyond my wildest expectations. How we got here with WWE abruptly ending Cena's heel turn was terrible. It was terrible in every sense of the word. I already made a different video about that, but honestly, it didn't matter. Sunday night, babyface Cena was back in full force. The bright colors returned, the smile, he burst down the ramp with Stu, and the crowd just exploded. The ambience was electric. For over 30 minutes, Cody and John Cena went to battle, and that's an understatement. Announce table shattered, steel guardrails folded in half, chairs flying everywhere, tables snapped in two, brawling in the crowd. Then in a moment that felt straight out of a damn movie, John Cena emerged from under the ramp, smoke everywhere, with that evil grin, carrying Cody Rhodes like it was nothing, then hitting him with an AA on the ramp. Cody even hit the pile driver, a move banned by WWE. John Cena went back in a time travel to 2015 and pulled out a code red. Yes, you heard me, a code red. These two were pulling out all the stops. When you think the insanity couldn't go up anymore, oh it did. cue up the finisher fest. Finisher after finisher after finisher. Every kick out had me screaming on the edge of my seat. At a certain point, I lost count, but Super Cena was back in full force, hitting 3 consecutive AAs, including one from the top rope. Yet, that still wasn't enough to put Cody away. Speaking of Cody, it was Crossroads City, but Cena refused to stay down without a fight. There was even a moment in the latter portion of this match where Cody looked a bit emotional. He hit Cena with the metal part of the ring rope over and over, pleading with John to just stay down, but he wasn't. He was conflicted, not really wanting to do it, but knowing he had to in order to right the wrongs from WrestleMania. However, while going for the third attempt, Cena caught him in the STFU, giving us a ruthless callback to his brutal match with Umaga back in 07. The ending of this match was a master stroke of storytelling. It was poetic, it was emotional, everything professional wrestling is about. Cena wounded after going through a table, hanging on the ropes, completely gassed. In the background, we see Cody, knowing this is what he has to do, give Cena one last salute, followed by one last crossroads for the 1, 2, 3. Wow, everything about this was sheer perfection. To top it all off, at the very end of the match, Cena would hold Cody's hand high in a truly impactful moment, making it very clear, if it wasn't apparent already, Cody is WWE's quarterback, leading them into the future. In a recent video, I said this match can't be about anything besides the story of John Cena and Cody Rhodes, and I'm so glad that's exactly what they gave us. No crazy interferences, no final boss, just 2 men going to war in front of the masses. For the people who harp on the fact that we got way too many finishers, I agree to a certain extent. I get that POV, but for me, we just saw 2 faces of the company, 2 faces that define a generation, 2 faces that have taken WWE to new heights. This was Superman versus Superman on crack cocaine, Super Cena versus Super Cody. If there was ever a time and a place for this sort of match with the amount of kickouts we got, it's this. Even though it was a bit much at times. Hands down, this is Cena's best match since Roman in 2017 or AJ in 2016. I haven't seen a move like this in over a decade. Coming into this contest, I was hypercritical of the Cena retirement tour so far, saying things like, oh, his matches and promos haven't been this or that, haven't lived up to my expectations. Cena, since randomly turning babyface, is everything I thought this retirement tour would be about. There's just a clear difference. This match had pacing, there was a sense of urgency, it wasn't slow, it wasn't methodic. Every move you thought could be the last one. That's how good this match was. So yeah, that concludes the main talking points I wanted to go over for SummerSlam 2025. This event had everybody talking. Brock Lesnar is back. Cody Rhodes beat John Cena in a really fun match. CM Punk versus Gunther was a classic, spoiled by the cash-in of Seth Rollins. What do you guys make of the event? What are some things you guys liked, disliked? Comment that down below. It's been your boy Launcy. Peace out.